Okay. So I've started the screen share. Not sure if he's able to hear. Uh, Started the recording as well. Aklilu, are you talking on mute? I can't hear you. Like, please confirm. We will start the class. Looks like you're talking on mute and we can't hear you. Okay, not sure if he can hear me or not, but I'll start the class. And because this is the part that we had already discussed yesterday, this is just a refresher. I'll quickly cover in 5-10 minutes. So, hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss basically the course structure, how the entire course will look like in upcoming days. And once we will cover this, then we will go to uh, the second part, the connecting and shaping data, right? So this is the course outline. What we will be covering in these sessions are the first thing will be the introducing Power BI desktop. So we will mostly be focusing on the Power BI desktop part, although like there are the web version of it, Power BI service, and lots of things. But we will be mostly covering Power BI desktop and focused on the Power BI desktop. Although we will somehow we will theoretically discuss few Power BI service or Power BI web version, but mostly the course will be focused on Power BI desktop. So if in your system City Power BI desktop is installed, that will be great, because to start with the course, you would need Power BI desktop installed in your system, right? So that is the first thing. Yesterday we had discussed this, and it was fortunately installed in both their systems, so it was easy for us. Then what is Power BI? Why do we use Power BI? What are the components of Power BI? So these are the few things that we are going to discuss about the introduction. And then we will directly come to the connecting and shaping data, right? So this is very important part, because if you want to create any dashboard or work on the real-time project, you would need to understand your data first, right? So how to import your data in the Power BI desktop, how to create connections, what are the different types of data sources from where you can connect, and the most important part is Power Query, because everything happens in the Power Query tool itself. Right, so this is very important concept that I am highlighting over here under section 2. So we will be covering this part today, we had already gone over this one. I'll give a refresher of one liner, but mostly the today's class will be focused into the second part, right? And also the best part is not like yesterday. Yesterday was mostly theoretical class, because we wanted to like just go through the basic concepts of Power BI. But today it will be mostly demo, and I'll also share one data set with you guys, so that you can also do in your system and like feel comfortable on how everything works, right? So that will be so today's session will be mostly like practical, not theoretical. Very less theory and more practical, right? So that's a good part. So this is the second thing that we are going to cover in the course, which is connecting and shaping data. Then once you know how to shape the data, how to connect with the data, right, how to do transformation and everything, what you need to do is you need to create a data model, right? So creating a data model is very important, because for creating a data model, you need to understand the relationship between various tables, right? So what is the data model? First and foremost thing you need to understand. Then once you know like what do you understand by data model, then you need to understand the concepts of lookup tables and data tables, like how they are different, why we categorize them as two different tables, how it will benefit us during creating relationship, right? And then after understanding data tables, lookup tables, you need to understand the table relationship, what are merge tables, when do we use merge tables, or we should avoid merge tables, and all those concepts we'll be covering. Then we will be covering how to edit, manage, create table relationship, and understand the filter flow. Right. Understanding filter flow is also important because you need to understand when it should be one to one relationship, when it should be one to many relationship, how the filter is flowing, like which table is filtering which particular column or field. Right, so that is important. And then once the relationship is created, your half of the job is done, because the second point and third point is the most important part in any of the dashboard creation, right? Because understanding the data and creating relationship is the main, like half of the things are done, because once you have the data set ready, then it's very easier for you guys to visualize it, right? So half of the things are done here, and then the fourth things comes is adding calculated fields with DAX. So DAX is basically data analysis expression, right? So what happens is here you can write calculated columns and measures. So what is the difference between calculated columns and measures? When do we create calculated columns versus when do we create measures? What are implicit and explicit measures, right? And what are different DAX functions out there? Naming them is number is specific functions, or time and date format function, and all those things I'll be covering here. So once you start working on the DAX, this is a part that will come with practice. Like as much as you practice, you will get to know like what kind of functions are available there, what all syntaxes are there, how should we write the syntax, right? So that is basically important, and once you do that, your, I think mostly 80% job is done, and then you just need to visualize your data. So your all the data sets and everything is ready. What you need to do is you need to understand what kind of charts are there in the uh, what kind of charts are there in the uh, 1 minute, give me 1 minute. So what kind of charts are there? What are the differences between each of the charts? And then showing the basic charts and visuals, showing key metrics with cards and KPI values, and doing formatting and applying filters on each of the visuals or on the page level filters. So all those we will be covering over here. So the best part of this course is not only one hands-on project you will get that I am mentioning over here. It's not at the end of the class. Throughout the class, what I will be doing is I'll be sharing the data set with you guys, and you will do parallelly with me, so that like it's easier for you guys to understand each and everything. Because what happens is if I only do the demo, half of the times it happens that the student miss a few pointers, right? So what I'll be doing is I'll be showcasing whatever pointers we'll be discussing, and then I'll be sharing the data set with you guys, so that you can practice from your side, and in the next class you can come along with the doubts that you have, so that we can clear that first. Maybe let's say 10 minutes of the start of the class we will discuss that, and then we will start the next session. So that way it will be easier for you guys to um, uh, understand each and every concepts, right? So I'm mentioning a doubt clearing session which will be every day. Whenever you are available, like you have some doubts, you can ask and I'll be clearing your doubts, right? So at the end of the class, the demo dashboards will look something like this. This is one of the dashboard that we have created recently, and then there is this dashboard in which you see there are multiple charts, right? So we call it as tree chart, this is bar chart, these are cards, this is a geographical map, right? So all these you will get to understand, and how to create it. Then they see these are the different kinds of chart, which is called Gauss chart. So all these things you can create once we complete our entire lectures, right? So this is the course structure. This is what I'm planning to go through in upcoming class, right? So I'll quickly cover why do we use Power BI and what is Power BI. So Power BI is standalone Microsoft BI product, which includes both desktop and web-based applications for loading, modeling, and visualizing data, right? And why do we use Power BI and not some other BI tool? Because first and foremost, Power BI is the industry leader among BI platforms, and it's absolutely free. Although when we talk about Tableau, it's licensed, so you need licensing to download it and then work on it. But Power BI is absolutely free. Anybody can go Google it and download it and start working on their system. So this is very good feature that Power BI has brought up. The second thing is you can connect, transform, and analyze millions of rows of data through Power BI, right? And you can build relationship models to blend data through multiple sources. So it's not like if you have two CSV files and let's say one data source, which is SQL Server, you won't be able to work. And let's say third source is cloud services, so you won't be able to work, right? So the Power BI gives us flexibility to actually work with the multiple sources in one go and create relationship, write complex DAX queries, and visualize data through interactive reports and dashboards. So that's why we are going through, like that's why we have chosen Power BI instead of some other BI tools, right? So yeah, so this is what we had covered yesterday. And if you guys have any questions or anything, you guys can ask me, and then we will start today's session. So this was just a refresher for all of you and new for you, City, so that you guys are on the same page. And then I'll start today's session if you guys don't have any questions.
I mean, this is not important, but Power BI is not free for us. I mean, I have to pay for it.
No, so Power BI desktop version is free for everyone. I don't know, like, are you paying for some other additional features, or like, why do you need to pay? Do you have some Power BI
I mean,
services that?
in order
Yeah.
to be able to load any sort of data onto it, you would have to be a paid member. Like it's not that much. It's only $10. But I'm just saying, I don't know if that's free back home in India, but I pay. We all, I think we pay.
No, so if
50.
you
I'm
are
not.
paying $9.99, I think if you're paying $9.99 then you are you have Power BI Pro
The
version,
pro,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so Power BI Pro is available at a subscription price of 9.99 per user per month, right? So this
Mhm.
plan for Power BI Pro includes tools for data collaboration, 360 real-time view for dashboards, and you will be having freedom to publish reports anywhere. So I'm talking about the basic version. So basic version is free of cost. But if you are having Power BI Pro and if you are paying $10 or $9.99, that means you have that freedom to publish your reports. And then there is some additional features of data, some additional tools that will be available for you guys.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So any questions, anyone? Otherwise, like I can start with today's class. Aklilu, are you able to hear me?
Yes, now I hear you.
Okay, sure. Yeah. City, you can go ahead. I think you have some question.
No, I don't have any question. You can go.
Okay, sure. Thank you guys. So, okay, so I'll slow down myself little bit because I was rushing through because I was covering yesterday's few concepts. So now I'll be talking about the important thing, which is data connecting and shaping, right? Connecting and shaping data. So the first and foremost thing is types of data connectors. So what all types of data connectors do we have, right? So if you go into your Power BI desktop, right, and you go into your home tab, you will see some icon called get data, right? Once you click on your get data part, this window will open, this pane will open, wherein you will have one search box. You will have multiple options out there, which is called all, file, database, Azure, online services, others, right? So under all the options will be available, be it flat file, be it databases, be it online services or others, right? So as I mentioned it over here, Power BI can connect to any type of source data, including flat files. By flat files, I mean CSV, text, Excel file, right? So flat files and folders. So folder is one of the very important or very feasible feature that you can use going forward. So you can directly connect your dashboard to a folder which will be pointing to a folder, and then if you change your file over there, it will help you like and refresh your dashboard. It will automatically refresh all the numbers out there in your dashboard. So this folder option helps you in automating your dashboard. So whenever you want to automate, let's say you are working in an organization and you need to refresh your dashboard in uh, let's say 1 week or so, weekly cadence. So this helps you in automating your dashboard. So what you can do is you can every time if you get new data or new Excel file, CSV file, flat file, you can store it here with the same name. And if you hit refresh button in your Power BI desktop, it will automatically pick the latest data information from the path, and then it will refresh your entire dashboard with the new number. So this option is very handy, feasible for the automation from the automation perspective, right? Then the second thing comes is database. So you can connect your Power BI with all the databases out there, which is SQL, Oracle, Azure, and all those things, right? Then there is also capability of online services wherein you can connect your dashboard with the SharePoint, or there is a GitHub link where lots of data sets are available, so you can directly connect your dashboard to GitHub. Then Google Analytics, Salesforce, Power BI service. So multiple online services are out there which can be connected through Power BI desktop, right? And there are few other things apart from these which are let's say R script. So R is also a tool where you can code, right? So you can connect your Power BI desktop with R, Spark, Hadoop, all those things, right? But the most important thing that are used, right? People generally don't use, or if it's not that advanced level, usually in organizations also, mostly databases and flat files and folders are being used. If somebody wants to scrape some do web scraping, scrape the data from online services and then include it, then they go for online services or some other data sources. But mostly uh, I would say like 70%, 75% times flat files, folders, or databases are being used everywhere. So we will focus mostly, since CSV and text file is very easier because you can store it in the desktop and then you can directly import it in the Power BI desktop and work around with it. Because for databases, you would need that username, password, and also you would need some license or anything, like you need some databases to connect with, which we don't have right now. So for this course, the entire course, we will be going with the CSV and text file because it's easier for all of us to store it in desktop and work around with it, right? So these are the data connectors. Whatever I discussed just now, I will open quickly a Power BI desktop and show you guys like how it look in real. You guys are able to see my screen, right? Is it visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, I see you.
Okay, sure. So any questions till now, anyone? Or is it clear for now?
It's clear.
Okay, sure. You can stop me anytime whenever you have any questions, because it's better to clear at the same time. Uh, if it's something is not understandable to you guys, or you have some doubts while understanding, like while I'm talking about all these concepts. Okay, so this is the Power BI desktop. First, this is a report view, wherein at the top, in the top ribbon, if you go to the home option, you will get a get data option, right? I'm hovering my cursor over here. So if you click on get data, you will get multiple options here. But see, since Excel workbook, SQL Server, text CSV, these are widely used, they are mentioning it out here, which is common data sources, right? Or you can directly take it from here. If you have Excel workbook, you can click here, or if you have text or CSV, you can directly click here and the import will happen. But if you want to look at all the options out there that we just discussed, you can click on the more option, and then this page will open where you will get one search bar, and then you will have all the options here, what that is file, database, platform, Power Platform, Azure online services, and others, right? Let's say you are here and you want to search something, you can write over here SQL, and all the options that is related to SQL will appear over here. All the data sources that you can connect with that you can connect through Power BI desktop will start getting listed over here if you write the keyword in the search box, right? So uh, this is about the all the data sources. In this course, we will mostly be focusing on uh, text or CSV, right? Because all the files and the best part for this course is there is not only one data file. There are in total 10 data files. So you will have multiple data tables, you will have multiple lookup tables. So you will be able to understand all the relationships, what is primary key, foreign key, and everything in very detail. So once you complete this particular project or this one problem statement, you will understand most of the things, I'm sure, right? So yeah, this is what we will be covering. So we will be actually getting data through CSV. So what you need to do is you need to select text or CSV. In case you have text or CSV file, you need to hit connect at the bottom, which is highlighted over here in yellow. So once you click on connect, right, it will take you to the wherever you have stored your files, right? So I have stored my files over here. So all these are CSV files, right? So once you select your, let's say any of the files, let's say product file, and open it, what it will do is it will connect to to the file, and then it will show you the preview of the data set that is available in your CSV file, right? So these are the columns, and this is the file origin. So it's coming from my Windows laptop. So that's why it's giving me 1 to 5 to Western European Windows. And then the delimiter is comma. So comma delimiter means like all these are separated through comma. So if you don't have comma, what it will show like 21431, like all these will be in one string, right? So to separate these, there the delimiter is comma. So this you can change also, like if you want to have through semicolon or space. So there's depending on the data set that you get. Let's say you don't have data formatted in very well manner, then you will identify what is the delimiter in your case, and then you can select it from here. But the best part is the Power BI itself identifies like what will be the best delimiter, and it will take that over here and it will arrange your data set, right? Then the third option here, what you see is data type detection, right? So here, if you look into the drop down, you have based on first 200 rows, based on entire data set, do not detect data types, right? So what it does is basis on the default selection always is based on first 200 rows. So what this Power BI desktop does is any data set whenever you import, right, it will look into the first 200 rows uh, of each column, right? So it will directly take first 200 rows, and then for each of these column, or I can say fields, what it will do is if it is numeric, it will in backend, it will assign that, okay, this particular product key is numeric. The data type for product key is numeric. The data type for product subcategory key, looking at the first 200 rows, is numeric. This one looks like text because it is text, right? So even if we have numbers over here, 0192, you can see I'm let's say this one li0192s, right? Even though we have numbers over here which is 0192, this particular cell is considered as text because we have li underscore li hyphen 0192 hyphen s. So this is not purely numeric field, right? So that's how, looking at the first 200 rows under each of the fields, what Power BI does is it will automatically detect data and assign a data type, right? Now, in this particular pane, once you see that, okay, all looks like your data is imported correctly, looking at the initial preview of your data set, you can go and click on transform data by. So there are three options out there, which is load, transform data, and cancel. Cancel means you don't want to load it, looks like something is wrong, you are not 100% sure of the data, you will cancel it, right? The second thing is transform data and load. If you hit load, what will happen is it will directly load this data into your main data tab, data view here, right? But we don't want that, right? We want, before loading any of the data, we want to hit transform data, because what happens is, if you want to change, let's say, the data name, like the table name, or if you want to change the data type of any of these, like looks like you want to verify whether the data type assigned over here is correct or not, right? Or if you want to add a column, remove a column, add row, remove row, any of these things that you want to do, any transformation to data you want to do, you know you have to go to the transform data part before loading it, right? So if you hit transform data part, the Power Query window will open. This is very important. If you guys at any point feel that you are not able to grasp, please let me know, because this is one of the key things that you need to understand while working on the Power BI, right? So as soon as I hit transform data button, it takes me to it opens a window which is called as Power Query Editor. So this is the Power Query where you have a lot of options, right? So this is very confusing right now. So to make it easier for you guys, what I have done is I have created this. So first I will talk about this part, and then I will show you there. So it's easier for you guys to understand, right? So till now, any questions before I start the query editor part, because this is very important concept. Any questions, anyone? Yes, no, all good.
I think I have a question
Yeah, go ahead.
where it says, no, can you bring, yeah. So where it says formula bar M query, I'm more familiar with DAX,
Don't worry about
but I
that.
know,
I'll be covering query editor just now. So don't worry about that. Prior to query editor, the way we discuss all the data transform, load button and everything is that clear? So I'll be covering the query
yeah,
editor part right now.
yeah, that part is clear. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else? Any questions? I'll take that as no. Uh, okay, so now this is the query editor window that you guys are seeing over here, right? This is the query editor window. If you see the same window that you see over there, right? So now under query editor, if you see, look at the top, absolute top, where you have file, home, transform, add column, view, tools, help, right? So right now we are under home button, which is highlighted over there, home, right? So once you hit or once you select home, these are the options that will come, right? So at the top, if you see, what do you see? So you have these, we call at query called call as query editing tools. So these are used for table transformation, calculated columns, etc., right? So under home button, you will see a close and apply button. So once you are done with each of the things, you can hit on close and apply, and it will load the entire data into your desktop, Power BI desktop, right? The second thing is new source. So what happens is, if you, let's say, want to import some of the data, you can go over new source also here, and you can basically pull the CSV file or connect to SQL server or anything. So through new source also you can import the data if you have missed importing it through the get data part that we discussed few minutes back, right? So then the second, so this is for, if you see at the below, this is for new query. So if you want to have some new query, you can select new source, or you can look into recent source and make modification, or you can enter data. So enter data is a thing where you can create your table on your own, right? So if you click enter data, it will open a window in which it will show, it will ask you to write the column name or enter the value you want to put, right? So enter data is mostly, or maybe people use enter data to create calendar table, let's say. So if somebody wants to wants to give start date and end date on their own and create a calendar table, you can select the enter data part. One tabular format will open in a window, and then you can assign values over there, right? So that way this new query part is used. Then these are data source settings, manage parameters. So as soon as we start working on it, we will see these, if needed we will use it, right? This is for query. So this is why it's mentioned as query, because let's say if you want to modify, in the case, in few cases we need to write mquery in, but mostly we work with DAX query and we avoid mquery. But mquery is a language which you can see in formula bar. So we have not written this mquery. Whatever step you will apply, right, that will come under applied steps at the right side, and mquery related to that will be generated here in the formula bar by the Power BI desktop itself. So that is a backend language that Power BI desktop uses, which is mquery, right? So we don't need to write any mquery. That is automatic. We, whatever operations or whatever steps we will do, that will be having a mquery associated, which is generated by the Power BI desktop itself, right? So here, if you see under query, if somebody knows mquery, or if you have little bit knowledge of mquery and you know, like, some you need to tweak some of the things, you can go here in this particular option where I'm hovering my cursor, which is a query part, and you can go to properties or advanced editor, and then the mquery page will open wherein you can write or you can edit your mquery, right? But this is not that widely used. So you need not to worry about mquery because you don't have to write mquery for creating a dashboard, right? Okay, just a moment. Okay. So the query part is uh, done, right? So wherever we are using mquery, then you need to modify or edit mquery. In that case, you need to basically go through query part and then work on it, right? Then there is something called manage columns. Looks like somebody is joining. Okay. Hi, Aklilu, did you drop? Are you there? Can you hear me, Aklilu? Not sure. Looks like there is some problem from his end. He's not able to hear anything. Okay, I will continue because we need to cover these things, right? So then we have manage columns. So in manage columns, we have options like choose columns and remove columns, right? So here what you can do is, let's say you want to remove few of the columns, right? So you can go over here under remove columns. You can select that particular column which you want to remove, and then you can hit on the remove columns, and that column will be removed, right? In few cases what happens is some people uses choose column. So let's say you have 100 rows, right? 100 columns, right? And every time you are sure that out of those 100 columns you need those 10 columns. So every time, let's say you need to refresh your particular dashboard, and the data set that is coming does not have a fixed number of columns in there, right? But you know that out of all the columns that is present in the data set, you need those 10 columns every time you refresh your dashboard. So in that case, what you will do, you will go under choose columns and you will select all those 10 columns that you need in your dashboard every time you refresh, right? Because many a times it happens that the Excel file, let's say, that we are talking about, in the case you need to refresh your dashboard, the Excel file does not have the exact number of columns in there, right? Sometimes they will give you 15 columns, sometimes they will give you 10 columns, sometimes 20 columns, but you are sure that you need those 5 columns, let's say, every time they give you a data. So then in that case, we will select choose column options and we will select those 5 columns. So every time you refresh, those 5 columns will automatically come over here. So once you load, all the 15 columns will be available, and the in the applied steps, that particular step will be there, which is choose columns. So then 5 columns will remain at the end of all the things, like after applying all the steps, and then you will be having those 5 columns, right? So this is the function of manage columns. Then there is reduce columns. So in the similar way as we have discussed about the columns, the same thing you can do for the rows. So you can keep few rows or you can remove few rows. So these are the options that comes very handy, and we will discuss when we will do this in practical way, right? Then here you have sorting option. So any of the column, if you want to sort, then you can select here ascending to descending or descending to ascending, and it will sort your entire column. Then the all the options is related to transform, right? So what it does is split column. Let's say in your let's say here under product name, right? You see here you have red, black, medium, large, and all those things, right? So let's say you want to basically remove all the, if there are some colors or size, you want to exclude that from here and have only the first part. Then what you can do is you can select on split column and you can put like after comma remove everything, or create a new column and then uh, have only product name before red and not the entire string. So you can use split column and then have that, right? Any questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, on the query editor, we
Yes.
are editing the existing data, right?
Yes.
So when you say new query, new source, are we adding a new data to the existing data, or how does that work? new source
Okay.
and recent source. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, sure. So let me go here and then show you. So let's say we are here under this is the query editor part, right? So once you hit query editor, what all option you see? You see Excel workbook, SQL Server, text, and all these things, right? So if you want to again import a new data source, let's say you want to, that will not append here under this data set. It will be a new data set, new table will start appearing over here. Let me do that for you. So I click on text or CSV and I select, let's say, customers. Okay. And open. What it will do is it will again open this page. I will click OK. What it will do is, see, one new table comes in. Apart from products, one new tables comes in, which is customers, right? So new source exactly works similar to the get data part that we did
Okay.
before the Power Query editor, right?
Yes, I can. Yes, it's clear now. So there
Okay.
is no relationship with the first, the
No,
table. There's no.
no, no. There is no relationship with the first data set. This new source will only help you getting the new data set.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry, I have a question on that.
yeah, sure.
So in the event that I wanted to duplicate the same data set, like say the first one, AdventureWorks, the first product, if I
Mhm.
wanted to do that instead of, could I use this other option, the one you just showed us right now, to duplicate that table? I mean that data set, or like bringing that same data set instead of duplicating.
You can do the both way. If you want to have duplicate version of this product, what you can do is you can right click here and then click on the duplicate part. It will duplicate your data set. Otherwise, if you want to import it, you can go from here and then import it. Both ways
The
it
same
will
one.
work.
Okay, okay, thank you.
No problem. Any more questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, looks like we are clear. I'm just wondering if Akililu is able to hear. Akililu, are you there? Can you hear us? Okay, not sure. Maybe like after the call, I'll connect with him. Okay, so for the time being, I will continue, right? Where were we? Yeah, so split column we were discussing. So before split column, I think you guys are okay, right? No other questions?
I'm
Yes,
okay.
I'm okay
Oh,
too.
okay, sure. So right now we were discussing transform part, right? So split column will help you split the data, like split the same column into two or three basis on the delimiter that is there. By delimiter, I mean comma or space or hyphen. All these are delimiter. So you can split your same column into multiple columns using delimiter and this option, split column, right? Then there is something called group by, which wherein you can group by multiple columns in one, right? So we will whenever we will use it, we can discuss about this more. So then the third thing is data type. So for any of the columns out here, see, you see here 1 2 3 and this one is highlighted. So this one, the data type for this column is whole number. If you feel that no, the data type should be something else, you can come here, you can change the data type from here, right? There's one more thing you can do is, what you can do is, the first thing you need to understand is in Power BI, there's not only one option from where you can do it. That is a flexible options that functionality that Power BI provides to us, right? So if you want to change the data type of any column, either you can go here and change the data type, which is decimal, fixed decimal, whole number, percentage, date time, whatever you feel like is the correct data type for this particular column. Or what you can do is you can hit on here. See, if I'm hovering over 1 2 3, it's highlighting. I can click on here and again it will show me the same options. right? So you can do it from here also. You can make changes from here also, which is this one, right? So both will work in exactly same way. Whichever option you will select, it will give you the same result at the end, right? So that is data type whole number. Then you have where it went, the use first row as headers, right? So what happens sometimes when you load the data, right? The headers at the top, which you see product key, product subcategory key, product SKU, and all these are in the second row. And in the first row, it will be some junk. Some random column name will appear, column 1, column 2, column 3, like that. So this use first row as header will, what it will do, it will upgrade the row number 1 as header. So those column 1, column 2, column 3 that will be there, that will go away, and the product key, product subcategory key, product SKU, everything will come as a header over here, right? So that is a data cleaning step. In case while loading the data is not cleaned properly and you see that header is not coming properly, you can use this option to clean your data and upgrade your row as a header, right? Use first row as a header, right? Then there is the option called replace value, wherein, let's say you what you sometimes we do is, wherever there is zero